I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on Spotlight, we're exploring the transformative journey of Joi Sharp, author of Unpredictable Grace, My Adventure Recovering from Chronic Pain Through Neuroscience and Quantum Mechanics. In her powerful memoir, Joi reveals how blending ancient spiritual wisdom with cutting-edge neuroscience helped her overcome severe chronic pain. If you're searching for new insights into healing, this book is a must-read for you. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today on Spotlight. We thank the team at Atticus Publishing for helping us put her in the spotlight today. And we ask viewers like you to support authors like her by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing her amazing book. The links are below this interview. Joi, thank you so much for joining me here today on Spotlight.
Thank you, Logan. It's nice to be here.
It's my pleasure. Let's start out by talking a little bit about your journey. You were suffering from chronic pain. Tell us how that began and what it was like and how you went about seeking relief.
Yeah, I'd had a kind of an issue in my leg and my hip for a while, and I had other interesting symptoms too. I had insomnia, I had some digestive things, but those were kind of manageable. But this sensation in my hip was affecting my life because I like to hike and get out in the mountains. And I went around and I tried different things to alleviate it. I went the medical route. I got scans done. I went to PT, and none of that really helped anything. And I found that the more that I focused on it, the worse it would get. And it started to spread. It started to go down my leg and into my knee and my shin and into my foot. And it got pretty bad. I had to resort to walking on a cane. And it got to the point where even going and getting any kind of massage or anything really exacerbated the sensation. So I had to stop everything.
Wow.
Yeah.
Awful. It sounds torturous. So you went about the conventional methods, but eventually you came upon a connection between neuroscience and chronic pain relief. When did you first make that discovery and how did you make that discovery?
Yeah, and this is really interesting because I kind of hit rock bottom, right? Which
Mm.
happens oftentimes when we have to try something new. And I hit rock bottom and I just started to pray. I was like, I need help here. What is going on? Because at that point, the pain was quite severe. And a friend reached out. She just suggested this website. And it was a website of a pain scientist in Australia. And his concepts were so interesting, how the brain can turn off and on pain. And I took that concept and I just started to research, and a whole new world opened up. And yeah, one thing led to another, and I found some great supportive resources out there.
Right. Including
Yeah,
neuroplasticity, right?
yeah, yeah. So, this is something that it's not too difficult to understand, but it's basically, we have memories of maybe dangerous, stressful events that the brain stores in our brain, the brain stores as a memory so that it can keep us safe. The brain's job is to keep us safe all the time. And when it starts to see like too much danger is happening, it starts to send a symptom as a distraction, which is a really interesting thing. So when we start getting symptoms, oftentimes it's a message from our brain that there's too much stress going on. There's too much cortisol, too much fight or flight happening in the system.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah. And so is it a matter of changing the way you think, changing your belief system? How do you change those?
Yeah, this is a really good question. So recovery does revolve around convincing the brain that you're safe, right? So going forward, there's a few things that we have to make sure that we're implementing. And one is understanding what is actually going on in your brain, that your brain is perceiving danger. And we can look at certain behavioral patterns. One, might be perfectionism. Maybe we put a lot of pressure on ourselves, worrying about like how things are going to turn out, worrying about what other people are thinking. And these are all kind of basic personality of what's called the mind body model, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we start to see those patterns, right? And we try to change them. But another thing is oftentimes is we're repressing what we're feeling. Okay. And this is really common in our society because we live in a stressful world. And oftentimes we sweep it under the rug, what we're really feeling, and just sort of push on, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I did. And so to recover, I had to really honor like my feelings about everything, and this doesn't involve like going back into time or, the past and resolving all your childhood trauma, but it's more of a kind of a right now thing,
Mm-hmm.
and just checking in with yourself. And every time we check in with ourselves, we're showing the brain that what we're experiencing is safe,
Mm-hmm.
because oftentimes the brain sees what we're feeling as dangerous. And
Right.
this is a big part of recovery too.
Yeah, it's fascinating, and our brain is so powerful. It's the one that's
Yeah.
perceiving the pain in the first place, so you can actually program it, it seems, so it does not perceive that pain. Uh, Essentially, that's it, right?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not difficult.
Yeah.
And, and that's really what I want to convey, because I'm very passionate about this work, is that people that do get chronic pain and they open up this other world and it is getting more and more well-known. Doctors and therapists, or many, many professionals are getting on board with how pain is created, and especially chronic pain, due to all the opioid epidemics and the surgeries that don't work and all of these things. But once a person starts to discover this other world of mind body science, it's not that difficult to recover. What the difficult part is that people become more afraid of the pain. And that's kind of what I did. I became afraid of the pain and tried to get it better. And by doing that, it got worse. And so we want to get the brain that message that the pain isn't dangerous, because it's not going to hurt you. It's not causing any tissue damage. It's a message that doesn't have anything to do with your body. It's all in the brain. It's all being caused but through a sensation.
Mm.
So, you know, having people understand that it's not that difficult, and to support people in that way is kind of my passion.
Well, I think
Yeah.
it's wonderful. I mean, even if you look at anesthesiology, what it's doing is distorting your perception of the pain. Your body is still going through the cutting, the pulling, the sawing, or whatever it is. So they're
Yeah.
manipulating your brain as well. Let's talk a little bit about your book and how you hope it will help people. What will folks find
Okay.
within the pages?
I started about my story, and it's a really pretty gripping little story that I share about my personal journey, because it did take me into a pretty scary place. And I wanted, people to be able to relate to that. And also, once how I found the science, how it gave me that glimmer of hope, right? And there are some very good resources out there. And I offered what I did to recover, and how I noticed that the more that I got really clear about what was going on in me, I just started feeling better inside. The symptoms were still there, but I started feeling better. And that's because that fight or flight, which had been with me for so long, and oftentimes we don't even know it's there, because it's become a normal part of our being. It started to change and it started to lower, and I just started to notice how I just started to feel better and better and better. And that inner improvement of self, that feeling better on the inner, is what signals the brain a message of safety, that it can start to turn the symptoms down. So it's a real personal story. It's not really a how-to book.
People can
I
learn
have,
from your lessons, learn from your
yeah,
journey about how you overcame your chronic pain. So I think, it's not a typical do A, B, and C, but people can certainly pick up the steps from learning from your journey and seek similar resources to the ones you
yeah,
sought, right?
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. The name of the book is Unpredictable Grace, My Adventure Recovering from Chronic Pain Through Neuroscience and Quantum Mechanics. It is a powerful memoir. In it, the author reveals how blending ancient spiritual wisdom with cutting-edge neuroscience helped her overcome severe chronic pain. If you're looking for new insights into healing, this is the book for you. Joi, thank you so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
Okay, thanks, Logan. That was fun.
Thanks. I had a great time talking to you as well. To the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time. Until next time on
Okay.
Spotlight.